Hi, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Let's Get Tender. I'm your host, Marlene Elizabeth, and I am thrilled that you've tuned in to join me today. In just a few minutes, you're about to meet India White. She's a powerful leader, motivational speaker, and author, and she's taken time out of her very busy schedule to connect with me and have a very tender and passionate conversation about money. Now, for those of you who have been on this journey with me at some point during the past 16 episodes, then you know that learning about money is about so much more than just money. So if you're experiencing financial hardship or struggling in your business to meet expenses or turning a profit, well, then you're in the right place, because this weekly video podcast is all about empowering you with encouragement and support and inspiration so that you can stop under-earning and start unfolding your financial potential one brave feather at a time. Because the truth is, you are your own money wings. So get ready for a unique money conversation packed with valuable insights for your journey into becoming an even greater, more successful entrepreneur.
Welcome to Let's Get Tender, Money Conversations That Matter, a video podcast series with certified money coach Marlene Elizabeth, with amazing weekly guests who share their inner challenges, personal triumphs, and inside tips and strategies so you can prosper, lead, and love bravely in business and life. So get comfy and get ready to grow money wings.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Let's Get Tender. I am super excited. I know I'm always excited for my guests that I have on this show. But today, I'm just so honored to have Miss India White joining me today. Thank you, India, for being here.
Thank you for having me, Marlene. I'm super excited.
So I would love to just share a little bit about your story. Before we get started. You are an amazing woman, and just super busy here. I want to share a little bit about you. So India is a powerful, energizing keynote speaker and consultant on education, success, and leadership, especially for women and community leaders. She's been described by Senator Marco Rubio as an inspirational story for America. At one time, as a homeless student who was actually kicked out of her house on Christmas Eve at the age of 16, India now inspires audiences all over the country from her lessons that she's learned from her hardships. And she shares about her triumphs that she's had in her life and also in leadership and in education. Her advice and expertise appear in Sarasota Magazine, Tampa Bay Times, and Senator Marco Rubio's book, American Dreams. She's been named Teacher of the Year, Woman of the Year, and India is a Gates Millennium Scholar and McKnight Doctoral Fellow. And she's used her platform to pay it forward as an educational example while helping to raise millions of dollars in scholarships for at-risk students. She is the only one in her family with a college education out of 10 siblings. Her books include How to Overcome Obstacles from Your Past, Success in a Book, I Survived It, and Employee to Entrepreneur. So, India, you are a rock star. As I said, I am just so honored to have you join me today. So once again, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, Marlene. I'm super excited.
So India, tell me what, here on the show, we talk about, of course, we talk about money. Let's Get Tender is all about the literal, of course, money in terms of, the coins and the dollar bills, but it's also about the behavioral side of money, the emotions and all of that comes with it. And so it's tender territory. So one of the things I love to do is ask my guests, what is your first memory of money?
Marlene, I'd have to say, I remember I was 6 years old and my mom, used to save money whenever my mom would give us, $1 here, $1 there for cleaning and things like that. And I remember I had $6 saved in change. I'll never forget it. And a nice piggy bank. And, I was really looking forward to saving that money. And I just was so proud of myself for being a great saver and investing wisely. My mom did need to use that money later, but I was still happy because I was able to save that much money at such a young age.
Oh my goodness, phenomenal. And little did you know back then, or your mom, your family, that it was kind of a clue as to your power of being able to, as I mentioned in the bio, being able to raise just millions of dollars for such great causes. So what a wonderful, wonderful story. So
Exactly.
yeah. So India, have you ever had a limiting money belief that you've wrestled and struggled with that's prevented you from achieving either life goals or business goals?
There was always a fear, Marlene, that because I was not raised wealthy, that wealth wasn't for me. Also, that because I wasn't raised to understand wealth, that I needed to just surrender my desire for wealth and let everybody else enjoy it. And I had to overcome that limited mindset big time, because once I realized that that's not true, and that wealth can be created, and money grows, and once I realized that fallacy was just not true, I began to link with right persons and make effective, healthy decisions with money, so that I can experience a better side of what that fallacy was telling me.
And this is so inspiring to me because, like you said, you had to get over that big time, right? Because you are a mover and a doer and a shaker. I mean, we can see it in your bio. We can see through your life, even despite the challenges you've had in your life. I mean, you were just born and meant for greatness in this world, and you're creating it. And money is just one resource, but a very important resource, right? And being able to
Right.
accomplish the things that we need to do. I mean, and you're in education. I mean, that alone is a big place where money is very much needed to create some wonderful things for our students, our kids. And so I love the fact that you took it on. And so, but it does take, you mentioned you had to start kind of learning from other people because it wasn't something that was familiar to you. So what were can you be a little bit more specific too about some of the brave steps that you took to overcome this limiting belief?
Well, Marlene, I really had to humble myself. I had to realize I didn't know a lot about money when I first started, and I needed to ask people that did know, and I needed to, have one-on-one conversations with people that were successful and find out how to invest, how to budget, how to save, how to make wise decisions with money, how to be patient, and how to just monitor the progress of growing money. And a part of that, like I said, was just remaining humble about the whole process and learning how to keep myself accountable as well. And so with that, I started to also do some research on different investing and, what it trading, different types of accounts, and also where I wanted to see myself, with regards to retirement, regards to how I wanted to live my life and the comfort of a lifestyle that I really desired and how to get there. So it took a lot of conversations and with people that were successful, people that were in business, people that were investors. And so with that, I think I've gained a wealth of knowledge that I'm so grateful for. And I have to say, it's for those that, paved the way before me and that were able to impart into me their wisdom, that I'm able to make the decisions today successfully with money.
Mm. So it's a journey. It's a journey. And
Yeah.
it begins with the
Right.
first step, right? You said humility, being humble. That's a powerful step. That's a very brave step to be honest and to be able to say, whether it's, I don't know anything, I didn't learn anything, or my finances are a mess and I need to do something about it. I mean, oftentimes it's easier to just ignore it or avoid it, or maybe just, rack up the debt even more because, we shop to, to get away from it, the emotional spending and all that. But it does take courage to just be humble and say, you know what? I mean, I'm doing the best I can, but I can learn. I could stand to learn a little bit more around this subject, right? And that,
Right.
it just makes you stronger.
Exactly. And, just the whole, walk with humility and having those honest conversations is huge for anyone that's really trying to grow, and when you realize that, there are good people, there is good blood, there are great connections where people are advocates for you and they will help you. I think that's, being willing to be vulnerable and realizing that that vulnerability can pay off for your good. People need to take a risk, Marlene, and they need to start looking into their money and into their wealth and what could be for them.
Mm. I love that. I love that because, we're talking about kind of trust, right? Taking a few steps and like you said, risk, just, and trusting ourself, trusting that we'll be okay. Even if we can, there's a saying, you can win or you can learn, right? And so there's a lot of learning that goes on the journey to winning, because everything that we learn isn't a loss if we take it and we use it to get to our goals. But yeah, and kind of when you were saying humility, it also reminds me of one of my favorite quotes for that word humility, and maybe you've heard it before, is that humility doesn't mean thinking of yourself less. It means I'm sorry, let me back up. Humility isn't about thinking less of yourself. It means thinking of yourself less. So it doesn't mean being small, like tiny and like not seen and invisible. No, it means thinking of yourself less. It means thinking of the fact that, wow, like you, in your case, you have these incredible gifts and talents. How can the world, and the world needs it, how can, those gifts and talents meet the world's deep hunger for those and need for those talents that you have to give, right?
Right. Right. And I think that that's, Marlene, that is really the core of every great person is, having that realization of humility and, but also balancing that with, achieving greatness at the same time.
Yes, yes, yes. So what belief now, or I should say, what belief do you hold true about money that empowers you in, your life and your business?
Well, money is a relationship, and I feel like it's also an exponential um, component of everybody's life. And I know that if you treat money right, it'll treat you right. And I feel like, as you continue to invest in yourself and invest in others, money will continue to grow and your great deeds will pay off and you will get your fair share. And I think that once you realize that and you don't put a limit on money, the sky is the limit for you. So it's really exciting to wake up every day knowing that this could be your day where you land big. This could be your day where you're changing your zip code. It's never a time for us to wallow in, woe is me, pity, or, looking at your mistakes and feeling like, oh, well, I'm done there. I can't ever climb out of that situation. But it's a time to embrace the greatness that's out there and the opportunities that can be and the dreams that are just around the corner. This is our moment. Like every day is your moment, So with that, I just feel like when we take that great attitude and that optimism into every day, the sky is the limit for us and the sky is the limit for our bank account. The sky is the limit for our wealth.
Mm. It's all kind of an inside job, right? I mean, it's all
Yeah.
about the inner game. It all starts from within us, is what I hear you saying.
Yes, it does.
And right, and then once that inner part of us, is on fire or fully alive, then the outside of our life reflects it. So I love that. And so, India, when you talk about, like the practical aspects that you mentioned earlier about, learning the practical side of money, I think, a lot of that had to do with the fact that you knew within yourself that you had the power and the opportunity to create this wealth, and the nuts and bolts of it, it's just a matter of learning that, right? I mean, you can just always learn the nuts and bolts of finance. But if you're not allowing yourself to receive that money, because whatever limiting belief you may have, then it'll never happen. So the inside work is so important, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. It's all about the mindset, Marlene. Studies show that, you can, even the physical body can be great, but if the mindset is off, it's not going anywhere. And I feel like once we can conquer wrong beliefs and we can have a strong mindset about obtaining wealth and a strong mindset about being successful, you can achieve everything that you've desired, and you can actually begin to embrace that, tangibly embrace the wealth, tangibly embrace greatness, tangibly embrace results for your business or for whatever your, you know, your niches or your area of interest is. So I feel like, you know, the mindset is key, Marlene. The mindset is key. We have to have a strong mindset about money and about our ability and about our worth and what we bring to the table and why people will invest in us and why we do have great products and why we are worth, you know, the monies that we're achieving every day, every year. You know, it's imperative, Marlene.
Yes. And, you know, and what I get from you and the work you do, so much of what you do just seems to be so grounded in love. And there's a real powerful connection there, because I know sometimes, like when I work with people in coaching, let's say, and they're dealing with a large amount of debt, and we take a look at that debt and we say, okay, what does that debt look like? You know, what does that represent for you? And a lot of times they're able to see that that debt really kind of reflects a lack of their own lack of love for themselves, like lack of self-care. You know, and so the more that we're able to bring love into this conversation around money, the better off we're going to be, because there's, you know, shame and a lot of emotions that can come up that are emotionally charged kind of emotions that prevent us from reaching our potential, our financial potential. And so I always recommend that love, and people feel that, I think, and I think money is attracted to that as well. You know, so, and the other thing too is when I'm coaching with clients as well, we also often talk about money archetypes. And so a lot of times, like you were talking earlier about how we approach, if our attitude around money is more of a victim mentality, then that's not going to attract much of the income, you know, like to us. So if we're kind of an innocent, we just want to put our head in the sand and be kind of an ostrich in the sand, then that's not going to be helpful. But if we approach it like a magician or a warrior or a creator artist, that is a whole different way to be able to approach our finances. And I see those powerful money archetypes in you in terms of being the money magician and the warrior and even the creator artist.
I think that's beautifully put, Marlene, and I agree. And also, money comes to you. You know, I feel like once you start doing and developing your craft and you begin to fulfill your call, whatever you need will come to you. And I think that, you know, that's why some of us are so fulfilled, is because we are right in the midst of what we are called to do. We are fulfilling our destiny. We are fulfilling the craft, the talents that, you know, we have been given, and life is going great because we are right where we need to be. So I would also suggest to people that, you know, might struggle with debt or money, to tell them, what is your gift? What are you called to do? Are you settling? Are you living below what your destiny is calling for you to do? There is a role for every single person on this earth to fulfill. And once they walk into that destiny and that journey, that money will flow to them.
You know, and India, I can agree more with what you've just said. And, you know, I also wanted to point out that, you know, you do share in your bio that, you know, you've come from your challenges in your past, but you don't live there. You don't stay there. You know that was in the past, right? And that's a big part of moving forward is living today for your future. Am I right?
You are very correct. I'm telling you, Marlene, if I did not learn how to bounce back from homelessness, you know, as a youth, I would be a statistic today, a mere statistic, feeling sorry for myself with all types of different issues. But it's just being able to bounce back and say, no, I'm better than this. And this is what my life will be. And being able to declare yourself with authority what you want your life to unfold as, that's when you will begin to see that greatness. You know, we have so much power in our words. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. And that's another thing, Marlene, is how are we speaking about our money? How are we speaking about our success, our careers, our goals? Like, how are we seeing ourselves? You know, and it's so great. You know, I was driving the other day and it was like I had to look out of the rear view mirror and I'm like, you know, when it came down to, you know, driving and managing traffic on the interstate, I can't constantly look in the rear view mirror when I'm on the interstate. I have to move forward. I have to look forward. And the same thing is when you're building your money, you have to look forward. You have to move forward as to like, okay, this is where I'm at and this is where I strive to be within the next year. And how am I going to obtain those goals? How am I going to achieve that? And we have to believe in ourselves, and we have to continue to move forward and know that we don't have to stay in the past. We don't have to mellow in the past and wallow in the woes of the past. We are called to move forward. We are called to live in today. We're called to live in the now moment, and we're called to thrive.
Amazing. I'm so powerful. The truth, you know, that's what it just resonates so powerfully with what you just said. And it sounds like a big part of that is also on that journey of, you know, the past is the past and this is my present and future, is the role of forgiveness as well, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. I can tell you that, you know, I always tell people when I go to speak that, you know, forgiveness is key, because when you forgive, you're releasing yourself. You know what I mean, Marlene? Like, if you don't forgive, then you're stuck in a rut and you're constantly playing the blame game. And can I be honest? Nobody's going to care, because they're looking to see your greatness. They're looking to see your worth. They're looking to see, what are you going to contribute to society now that you've gone through that hang up? You know, if we stop at point A, okay, somebody did this to me. Now what? What's the solution? People are always looking for solutions to problems. They want to know, what do you bring to the table to help make the world a better place? We can't, you know, wallow on, this person did me wrong, so I've got to keep that bitterness, because we are all made to shine and to be our best and to be great. And when we hold on to bitterness, unforgiveness, we are hindering our own ability. We're hindering our own potential of being out there and being world changers. We're hindering the blessings that God would have for us. So you're right, Marlene. It is huge, and it's very imperative to be a forgiver. And I mean, honestly, in my own life, if I never knew how to forgive my mom, I wouldn't be here today, you know? And so, you know, you're just very right. You know, we have to forgive. We have to forgive and move forward in love.
Yeah. You know, and I feel like we've been talking already of some examples of lessons you've learned in your life that you apply, you know, to your success now in your business, or I'm sorry, your business, and also is your in your leadership role as an educator. Is there any other kinds of lessons that you've learned that you would say from your, you know, from your personal journey that you apply to your relationship to money that's helpful?
In my personal relationship and my relationship with money, I would say the main thing has always been to keep moving forward. You know, we get tired, but we have to keep moving forward. All of us, you know, we hit bumps in the road. We get tired. We feel like we're out of options, but we must continue to do research, move forward, link up with others, and remain proactive whenever we're in pursuit of our goals, our success, our journey, and of building wealth. We have to constantly move forward. We can't stay stagnant, and we can't just accept what is as what always can be, but we must move forward. We must know that there's greatness ahead. There's like, it's just being hopeful about the future and being hopeful about what can be. So, you know, that's the main thing that I've really just taken everyday life, is how are you moving forward? How are you growing your wealth? How are you growing others? How are you building your brand? How are you making a difference? How are you fulfilling your destiny in this life? You must move forward. Every single one of us must move forward.
And this is so important with women in finances, in terms of getting comfortable with having money and having wealth. We must move forward in this place where so many women tend to not be comfortable necessarily talking about money, much less creating the wealth. Maybe they'll feel that if they make more money than their friends and family, they won't be loved anymore. I've heard that a lot. That's a common one I hear, and many others, kind of limitations that women put on themselves. So I'm super excited to be able to have this conversation with you. And India, let me ask you too. So what have you learned to be true about money that you know now that you wish you would have known right when you kind of started this journey? Like if you could go back and whisper into your ear when you were younger, what would that be that you would tell yourself?
Definitely that, Marlene, that would have to be that mistakes are not final. you know, starting out, you know, you look at some of the mistakes you made and, you know, some of the investments that didn't go well and, you know, partnerships that, you know, crumbled. And sometimes you can say, wow, that's it. You know, I'm done, or that was it. And that's a lie. That's a lie. Mistakes are not final. Bumps in the roads are not final. This is a learning progress. This is a journey, a journey. And if we can remember that, Marlene, the big word is it's a journey, and that mistakes are not final. That's what's going to help people get up from that debt and push forward. That's going to help people to get up and start with that business plan and start with, you know, that new career, that new idea that they have, so that they can generate wealth for their family, because mistakes aren't final. And sometimes we as humans, you know, honestly, Marlene, we're just too hard on ourselves sometimes, you know, and we're very critical of where we are, and we've written ourselves off and we've given ourselves an expiration date. But if you're up today and you're living and you know, you've got lungs, you know, breath in your lungs, your mistakes aren't final. It's time for you to get up and be great. It's time for you to generate wealth. It's time for you to make it happen for yourself and for your family.
Mm. And the world's waiting for that. There's somebody out there, and sometimes it's just one individual that's waiting to hear or receive what it is that you have to give to that person. And then it becomes like that ripple effect, right? That drop in the pond, and it ripples just around one human being, you know, when you transform their life. So wonderful. So now, India, even though you're very much involved in education now, but you've also run your own business. You've also been, and you are entrepreneurial, aren't you? And do you find you are entrepreneurial within the educational world?
Yes, I am blessed to be an entrepreneur with my business, Rise and Glory Productions, you know, providing services to empower and uplift youth and women through my motivational speaking, book signings, workshops, and it's been wonderful. I can tell you it's been nonstop. It's a lot of hard work, but it's worth every effort because we are moving forward. And so, you know, I would definitely encourage people too that might not be entrepreneurs, and they might, you know, be interested in that, to go out and take a risk, get started, go research, learn about it, and take a step forward. Because like I said, it's all about moving forward. And, you know, I'm blessed to have been a part of a book collaboration on employee to entrepreneurship. And we have a lot of exciting events planned in the future for that too, Marlene. So I'll definitely keep you posted with that. But it has been a wonderful journey of entrepreneurship while, you know, going to school, raising a family, and so many other hats that I have been blessed to wear. So yes, it has been a wonderful journey.
It's exciting. It's exciting. And it has its ups and downs too, but it's,
Oh, definitely.
when you're meant to be an entrepreneur, there's no other way. There is no 9 to 5.
There's no other way. That's right.
So India, again, it's been such a pleasure chatting with you, and we're running out of time here, but I would love for you to share, how can viewers learn more about what you do, or learn more about how they can chat with you more about this conversation?
Well, Marlene, I'd love to chat, and I'd love to follow up with anyone that has listened. And my website information, they can find me on www.india-white.com. They can also email me directly if they're interested in a workshop or consultation, or more information on some of my products and services at india.white.123@gmail.com. Okay, and then also they can find me on social media. My Facebook is India White, and they can reach me through those outlets, and then we can follow up from there.
Wonderful, wonderful. And I encourage everyone to do that. Well, especially if you're needing that support and encouragement. I mean, it's out there. It's out there for you. So thank you, India. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.